want to just sort of unpack what you would do with 120k.
Firstly, most pleasing thing is they asked the question before they went and spent the money, because so many people spend the money first, thinking they've done the right thing, and then come to us, and it's hard to help them get the best outcome there. If they're putting that cash into supposedly adding value or creating a nicer home, they're not reducing their mortgage. So many people we talk to spend all this money, time, effort, blood, sweat and tears renovating a house and then sell it and don't even actually get to enjoy it. The number one thing we need to understand is not what a property might be worth on the market, but how it's going to be valued by a bank.
Correct.
Because that determines how much available equity we have, given the bank's going to be lending us that equity.
If there's something comparable in a local area, they'll compare it to that. They don't compare internals. They compare square meterage. Your team deal with lots of clients, 120k. What do they do with it?
Very, very simple. We want to establish an investment portfolio with low stress, safety, security, and low cost while moving forward.
Welcome back to Brick to the Future. I'm Cam McLellan. I'm here with Michael Beresford. Boz.
Hey, Cam.
Thanks for joining me again.
Great to be here, mate.
Fantastic. Now, we've got a listener question which has come in. This one has actually been posed a couple of times, and it was the producers bring it to us when a question comes in multiple times, but I thought it was good enough, which was, if I got 120k, should I, it was A, renovate the kitchen, which is what he wants to do. His wife apparently is pushing him towards investment, which I go, that's
great to hear.
That's good to hear. Or the other one was, what other options are there as far as renovating or flipping or holding. So we want to just sort of unpack what you would do with 120k. Let's talk about if you put it into your own renovations to start with.
Firstly, most pleasing thing is they asked the question before they went and spent the money, because so many people spend the money first, thinking they've done the right thing, and then come to us, and it's hard to help them get the best outcome there. So if first was if they put it into their own home.
Into their own home, which was, I think, it obviously must need a kitchen, bath and reno. Do you know what I mean? So livable currently.
Okay, great. So when it all comes down to kind of, what people want, how do they want to get a return on their money, what do they want to enjoy, how expensive are they, willing for that improvement to be. What I mean by how expensive they're willing for the improvement to be is if they're putting that cash into supposedly adding value or creating a nicer home, they're not reducing their mortgage. Their cash flow and their debt level is still the same. They might get a nicer kitchen and bathroom. How long are they going to be in that property for to enjoy it? The reason I say that is so many people we talk to spend all this money, time, effort, blood, sweat and tears renovating a house and then sell it and don't even actually get to enjoy it. Which is why we kind of include this as an example of how you get the best financial return, because it might be fairly obvious to think people would enjoy what they've put the money into. So often they don't. So yes, you get a nicer house, but if we're thinking about how we can leverage equity, and you talk a lot about lazy equity over the years, how you can leverage that equity to be able to then start or grow an investment portfolio, the number one thing we need to understand is not what a property might be worth on the market, but how it's going to be valued by a bank.
Correct.
Because that determines how much available equity we have, given the bank's going to be lending us that equity, right? So simple question. If you spend 120 grand improving some internals in the house, but you've lived in that house for say 5 to 10 years and your loan to value ratio is maybe 50 to 75%, the chances are that the bank is only they're going to do one of two things. They'll either just look on the computer, the valuer will look on a computer, look at some comparable sales, see the facade of the house, see the location of the house, put a number on it, or they'll do what's called a drive-by valuation, where they'll drive around, the property exists, it looks like it's in pretty good nick, no problem, it's 30 years old, it's fine, put a number on it. In both of those scenarios, the bank's doing what's in their best interests, but you're getting no visibility at all of the 120,000 that you've spent in terms of improving that bank valuation, therefore improving your equity position. If
you look at the way a bank values something, they usually break it down. If it's something comparable in a local area, they'll compare it to that. They don't compare internals. They compare square meterage. So square metre of block, square metre of house. So they're the two factors. So unless you're dramatically increasing size of house for your 120k, which is not going to get you much size increase, an increased level of quality bathroom or kitchen makes no difference to the bank in their eyes.
Yeah.
So we can rule out any value increase by doing a renovation. So the only reason you would do that is if it was totally unlivable. You can do a hell of a lot with 30, 40 grand. If you want to do a facelift of a kitchen or a bathroom. So that can get you through for a period of time if you want to live in that, and then put the major amount of money to some good use, and that's investing in a property. Then you've got a couple of options. You can buy something and hold it, or you can buy something and flip it, which is always good when the block comes around, as you know. Yeah.
The block, it's so seasonal, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
no one talks about flipping for 6 months, and then the block comes on, and all of a sudden it's the best thing to do, and the proven investment strategy.
We'll give listeners a couple of facts about the block in a sec, but in my 4-year-old The Property Investor, I gave a really good example of renovating and flipping, which is if I was to say to you, you bought a $600,000 house,
Yep.
spent 50 grand on it, on a renovation,
Right.
and then flipped it for 750. Sounds like a pretty good deal.
I'm 100 grand in front, aren't I?
Absolutely. Well, let's break down some of the figures. So you've got, I'll let you go through, mate, because the lights off in here, my eyes are a bit older than yours.
I could probably do it without the book, but
yeah.
Fundamentally, if you're buying something for 600, you need to understand what your actual true entry price is. It's not just the property. You've got costs as well. So stamp duty, 31,000. You got some bank fees. You got to pay for solicitors. Let's call that 4 grand. The one that and then you've got the reno itself. So you're up to 50 for the reno, 31 for the stamp duty, 4 for the cost. So 85 of that 150 uplift is taken care of already.
Yep.
The one thing that people forget across the board is that if you're doing this kind of renovation, then you're doing it one of two ways. Either you're not working to do the renovation quickly, which means that you've got a loss of income that you've got to factor in, or it's going to be a fun project after hours or on the weekends.
Oh, that's great for marriages. Those sort of projects together. It's like put a little bit of dab of paint on your nose.
It takes me. It'll take me. Do you know what? It's kind of like my 4-year-old The Property Investor. Hey, Fliss, I'm going to be writing a book. It'll take me 2 months.
Yeah.
A year and a half later, you've nearly finished it.
Absolutely.
So things always take longer than what we think. And as a result, that is time that you're not generating rental income from that property. Right. And you're paying interest and costs out of your own post-tax cash flow until it's up and running.
Yep.
So, if we factor in that time frame and we say that it takes a 12-month period to do that, then your interest's going to be, another $36,000, assuming a 6% interest rate, round numbers. So straight away, you look at that and you go, well, of the 150 uplift that I've supposedly made, I'm spending 120,000.
Yeah.
But I'm still 30,000 in front. Well, if your strategy is to flip, then so many of those costs are sunk costs.
That's right.
Which means you don't get a return on it because you've got to engage the agent and you've got to pay for advertising. So let's call that 20 grand. Yeah. So basically you've spent a whole bunch of blood, sweat and tears over 12 months.
Financially under stress. Your
lifestyle's under stress.
Relationship
you're not doing
shit.
Right, for 5 grand.
Yeah, good one. And then you got capital gain tax.
There you go. So you're actually going backwards.
Yeah.
And getting zero return on all that time and effort.
Yeah. Investing should be about having fun and enjoying life. Yeah. It shouldn't be putting more financial and time restraints on your life. So impacting your lifestyle. That's not why we do it.
So the block makes it look fantastic because there's a whole bunch of marketing behind it. They create a whole bunch of hype. They set a fake reserve so people make money. Everyone out there watching it thinks they've made a lot of money. Well, they're setting the market value. It's not real profit.
Yeah.
They've got a whole production team, that are doing the work. 15 years ago, the contestants actually had to do the work. Now they just do some pieces to camera and get some plaster dust on them, and they've got a whole bunch of tradies that actually do the heavy lifting. So it's reality TV. It's not a realistic example of what it's like to do.
Like I said, normal mum and dads go, hey, this renovating looks like fun. Let's go out and join this shit show. But our producer earlier got some figures on the block, some of their previous sales, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to disclose to our listeners some of the actual sale prices compared to what the block sold for?
Yep.
And remember, the blocks, they all make this fucking huge amount of money, don't they? The block contestants. What's the reality when they went and sold those properties a year later?
Yeah. So I think the first thing to start with is what are the given the nature of what the block is, what are the kind of properties that they're improving, right?
Yeah.
They're not growth assets. You know, they're a marketing exercise, and there are 4 to 6 in a group or in the same building, so that they can save on production costs and make a TV show out of it effectively. So we're typically looking at shared wall townhouses or apartments. Depending on the land content, not the best investment. So that's probably the first issue. But if you look at an example back in 2016, it was the Port Melbourne apartment block. One of those properties sold, I think it was like 18 months after the block, for $625,000 less than the winning auction price.
There you go.
So mistake number 1, buying at auction where you're happy to pay more than anyone else is not a great investment strategy. Number 2, the type of property that you're investing in can be problematic.
Horrendous.
Rule number 3 is actually the rule number 1 of investing. Don't get emotional about what you buy. You know, and make sure you're buying the right kind of growth asset.
No, so there was another one. I think it was one of Portelli's that he bought. One of the early,
that was over $1 million.
Early ones he bought. It was over $1 million less. 12 months later, that went for a market. So these are not realistic. It's not a realistic show people are watching.
And he looks at it and probably says, "Well, I'll make him because of his profile and his businesses. I'll make him, even if I lose $1 million on the property, I'll make $1 million worth of benefit from my advertising and what I can do with it." That's not a realistic scenario for everyday Australians.
All right. So your team deal with lots of clients. 120K. What do they do with it?
Very, very simple. We want to establish an investment portfolio with low stress, safety, security, and low cost to hold moving forward. So something that's not going to impact people's lifestyle, because that way they can hold it long term, just ticks away in the background. Put it down as a deposit on an investment property, borrow for the rest. You're going to be getting a $55,000 pay rise in the form of rental income and tax benefits that you're not currently getting when you don't have that property.
Great.
So to make it really simple for people to understand, if you're living in your own house and you're renovating that property, and I mentioned the mortgage doesn't change, you're still paying the mortgage every single cent with post-tax money out of your pocket. Okay. If you've got an investment property, then let's say that you're getting $600 a week in rent for that property, then that's bringing in $31,000 of rental income to help you cover those costs. Okay. You're not generating income on your own home. Secondly, through the power of negative gearing, it gets a negative connotation because the word negative is in it.
Love it.
It is a super powerful strategy. We've got a bit of a party trick in the office, haven't we? Ask people, do you know how much tax you're going to be paying in your lifetime? If you and your partner are earning just under $100,000 each, over your working, the time that you're working, you're going to be paying close to $2 million worth of tax.
It's insane. So
you can get a well-chosen investment property. Not all properties created equal. You've got to get the property selection right. We can help with that. But you're going to be getting between $22,000 and $24,000 worth of tax benefit each and every year off this investment property that you put your $120,000 into. So that's how I get the $55,000 pay rise from the rent and the tax coming in. The gap for you is $100 to $200 a week only. Worst case, and as interest rates are going to come down, that holding cost is going to get less and less and less. Clients of ours that bought 12 months ago that have made $150,000 or more, they've got that equity, they can hold another one as those holding costs come down, and straight away they're starting to get the power of compound growth. So investing passively, safely, securely, and just applying a proven process as opposed to the glitz and glamour of potentially get rich quick, which typically turns out to be lose money fast.
We were just talking to Tyler on the previous podcast, who's one of our clients, and he bought in Perth. He's just bought another one, bought his next one in Melbourne. They were going through some holding costs to hold that first property while it was getting built. Now he's getting about $700 a month positive cash flow across 2 properties.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
They're
insane.
going great guns.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Mate, thank you very much, Boz. You've unpacked this one well. Hopefully, listeners, that gives you an answer what to do with your 120K. But watch the block, have a laugh, don't do it. Thanks for listening to Brick to the Future. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.